And tonight on the Daily Wrap, the war between Donald Trump and Megyn Kelly heats up as others begin to take sides. And speaking of Mr. Trump, the GOP candidate finally starting to talk policies. We'll tell you where he stands on some of the big issues. And Bernie Sanders is drawing major crowds, but can he beat Hillary Clinton? And disturbing news about Chinese hackers accessing government emails. This is the Daily Wrap, live from New York City. And welcome to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by my co-host Rick Unger. Admirable job last night, by the way.
Well, thank you. I hope you had a great time at the shore.
The Jersey Shore is tremendous. Me, the JWoww, the Snooki, we tore it up, as they say.
Yeah, is Governor Christie going to send you a check for that little plug for the New Jersey Tourism Bureau?
Cashiers.
Okay.
And
yeah,
Diners
it's probably
Club.
a good idea. I know about the finances in New Jersey.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it in cash.
And to Mr. Unger's right, making her first appearance in the Daily Wrap. She's a CNBC contributor and a New York Times best-selling author and a Cubs fan, I hope. Carol Roth is here. No, okay.
Ooh.
And finally, he's a former FBI special agent, a former Navy SEAL, and currently the president of Continued Services. He is the mysterious Jonathan Gilliam.
That is so perfect for you.
Yeah,
Super spy.
All right, everybody, let's get right down to the Daily Download. And Donald Trump got some good news today with the release of the latest Iowa caucus poll. Mr. Trump increasing his lead to 17%, while Governor Scott Walker pulls in at 12%. Remember, Walker was the front runner there for a very long time. Marco Rubio, off an impressive debate performance, is at 10%. Ben Carson continues to climb as well, 9%. Ted Cruz getting a post-debate bump. He is at 7%. So, Carol, are you surprised that Mr. Trump is holding on to those numbers despite what some felt may have been a shaky debate performance? A lot of controversy clearly around the Megyn Kelly thing, yet the man has staying power like I've never seen.
I'm absolutely not surprised. The reason why people love Donald Trump is because he is trumping it up. That is what he was put here to do. He continues to do it. That's what you expect from his brand.
Define trumping.
Trumping it up is being as real as can be, not holding back, not being part of the political elite, saying what people are thinking, but many others aren't willing to say.
The anti-politician, anti-media guy continues to climb.
Yes, but I do feel it is my responsibility to point something out. He definitely has had a good post-debate bump in Iowa.
Are you surprised by that?
No. Well, yes. I shouldn't say that. He has a good post-debate bump throughout the country. However, the first poll is out in New Hampshire following the debate. Now, there's nothing to compare it to because he wasn't in the race when they last took the poll. But compared to some of the other polls taken in that state before the debate, he's dropped off. He still leads. He's got 18%, but he was as high in some polls as 30, 28%. While we see Fiorina making a major step forward in that state, we see Kasich, your boy, major. From -1, I mean, less than one. Less than
I'm going to
one.
vote against him twice.
Yeah, they voted against him twice. So less than a 1.
That happens in Chicago, actually.
To 12%. He's now in third place, according to this poll. So I wonder if, as I like to point out to everybody, it's great to be popular, and he's certainly popular. You've got to win the states. Iowa, he's looking good. I wonder if he's on a reverse trend in New Hampshire.
I wonder if if he wins Iowa, then that bounce goes into New Hampshire and all these polls we're talking about.
Maybe so. And it is early. We
Yeah,
have to keep saying
early.
it.
February 1st is when the actual Iowa caucus is.
But
and then New Hampshire 8 days afterwards.
One thing I am going to throw in about it being so early, we're all used to saying that because that's the way it always works. There has never been this kind of interest in a presidential race at this time. And it is largely because of Donald Trump. So, we may have to throw out the book here in terms of when it is too early. These numbers might actually have more meaning than we've given them in the past.
That's right, Jonathan. Fox got 24 million viewers on Thursday night. At one point, it spiked to 36 million. Just to give context, when they did their election night coverage for 2012, the number was only 12 million. So they doubled it just for a primary debate, which otherwise do numbers in the single digits clearly. All of that said, given what we saw between the exchanges between Megyn Kelly and Donald Trump, do you think that he was treated unfairly with those questions, and why?
You know, Donald wouldn't tell you that he was treated. I mean, he says he was treated unfairly, but that was the best thing that could have happened to him, I think, reality-wise, because he didn't have to give all his policy ideas away, but neither did anybody else, really, that night. I think, though, what stood out the most for me was that it was just like American Idol. You had the two male hosts, you had the female host, you had the one that was really spicy, and the crowd who was crazy about the contestants. And, you know, to me, it was a waste of, and I watched it twice because I wanted to go back through and see what I could see. To me, it was a complete waste of time. It told us nothing about anybody. It bumped, I think the right people got bumped up, if that's the one thing that happened. But I think overall it showed great immaturity for the moderators. The questions were absolutely horrible, and nobody dove into any issues. That's what people need. And let me tell you one thing about these New Hampshire and Iowa polls. Let me just say this. I wish they would just stand up one day and say, listen, we don't like any of these people. Give us somebody that we can vote, that we can look at truly.
That may not be the case.
Yeah, well, they've had a record of picking losers.
You mean the states themselves?
You're not going to get 24 million people to tune in on the first debate and go heavy hitting. You need to ease America into this. You need to do an introduction. You need to give them a little background. Most of these people have no idea who any of these folks on the stage are. So I think that it was fantastic, first of all, that they drew a number that was similar to the highest Sunday night football game that was out there.
Oh, yeah. Beat the NBA Finals, all those things. Just incredible. Anyway, on Sunday, Mr. Trump took to CBS's Face the Nation to further his point that Megyn Kelly treated him unfairly.
He starts off with a question that I thought was totally inappropriate, bringing up all sorts of things. And even the other candidates, a number of the other candidates came up to me. They said, you were really questioned unfairly. So, look, I'm fine with it. I think it's good. Most polls, every poll said I won the debate, which is fine, and I'm sure you've heard that too. And I think I did win the debate. Some of the candidates told me I won the debate. But I had by far the toughest questioning. It was not even a contest. And, John, if it wasn't for me, you had 24 million people there, and if it wasn't for me, you would have had 2 million people.
I got to meet the candidates that said, I think you won that debate. Anyway, last night,
There were some.
Megyn Kelly on her own Fox show addressed the criticism over her question to Trump.
Mr. Trump was upset with a question I asked him at the debate last week about his electability, and specifically comments he has made in the past about women. A few words on that. Apparently, Mr. Trump thought the question I asked was unfair and felt I was attacking him. I felt he was asked a tough but fair question. We agreed to disagree. Mr. Trump did interviews over the weekend that attacked me personally. I've decided not to respond. Mr. Trump is an interesting man who has captured the attention of the electorate. That's why he's leading in the polls. Trump, who is the front runner, will not apologize. And I certainly will not apologize for doing good journalism.
Good journalism, Rich? Should she apologize?
Well, first of all, I have to say something, much as it pains me. Every now and then when the stars and the moon align perfectly, Jonathan Gilliam gets something right. He actually, your American Idol comparison is absolutely beautiful. That's exactly what it was. It's a reality show, and we are still in what I hope is the reality show phase of the 2016 campaign. My fear is that it's going to be that way all the way through. I certainly hope not. Look, I didn't think that the questioners were particularly unfair. I know Jonathan does. I don't know.
I don't think that they were unfair because they weren't just to Trump. If you look at Ben Carson, if you look at Jeb Bush, there were very pointed, difficult, hard-hitting questions to all of them.
Yeah, but the difference between those questions were they were talking about their facts personal. Of their leadership.
No, they said with
him they were
no,
they were
with Ben
personal.
Carson, he said, "You know nothing." Basically, defend the fact that you know nothing.
That's true. That is
true.
true.
But it just it wasn't as personal.
I just felt like personal that you know nothing.
But it was put to him in a little nicer way. I mean, I kind of have to agree on that with Jonathan. As I reviewed it, the questions that Trump got, I thought they were appropriate, but it probably would have been better if they had stuff on everybody that was more personal. And I can think of stuff they had on other people that would have been better. So.
Okay, well, what do you think about Megyn Kelly's response to Donald Trump's comments? What do you think about Mr. Trump running as an independent, which he hinted that he may do saying it's for leverage for now, but he may do if it comes down to it. Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments and let us know. And coming up next, more Donald Trump.
Shocking.
This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.